Are you looking for a side hustle to complement your real estate business? Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, it's Rosemary Lewis, your educator agent with eXp Realty. And y'all, I am here to share with you some side hustles that you can do that will complement your real estate business. But before I get into it, y'all, go ahead and do me a favor and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell and give a thumbs up, like for real, give a thumbs up. But seriously, I love talking with y'all in chat. I love talking with y'all on Instagram. And I love all of the feedback that you all are giving on our podcast, the Real Estate Bestie Podcast. Hey, it's available wherever you consume your podcast information. We are having a good old time. Like, tell them in the chat, we're having a good time over there. So make sure that you are subscribed and listening to our weekly podcast that we release. Go to rebestie.com to hear more about it. But now let's talk about some extra money you can be making in this business. So here is a fun fact that, well, I don't know how fun it is, but a fact is a fact. The fact is that the average real estate agent will not close their first deal until 6 months after being licensed. But I'm going to tell you the real fact, right? I know folks who have been in real estate and not just sitting around, but just because of market conditions or they're working another job or whatever, it's just taking them a long time to get in production. And the challenge is that I feel like a lot of people with dual careers, it's really hard to focus on your real estate business when you need money, right? So you need to be doing something to bring the money in. But when you have to sit and do a 9 to 5, it just may not be conducive to building a business. So I wanted to share with you some side hustles, some things that you can do real estate related that might provide you with some experience and flexibility that will actually support you when you become a realtor that is in full production and you don't need to do these side things. Or you may just figure out, like, I actually really enjoy these and I'm gonna keep doing them because they are some consistent income. So let's start with it. The very first thing is, last week I talked about how important, or my take on the role that a transaction coordinator takes and why most realtors should have one. I think this is a great way to get into the business as a transaction coordinator. You can do it on your own for an agent. You can join a company, but you will have literally as a transaction coordinator, a direct peek at what it looks like from contract to close. And quite honestly, a lot of realtors, especially if you've never done that, you're not savvy and don't know about all of the different issues that come up. So being a transaction coordinator is relatively, I think, simple because your main priority is making sure that all of the paperwork is in order and interacting with the client, title company, lenders, and things like that. But you, on the low, you get some experience because the agents that you're working with, you get to learn things about the business from them by supporting them. So transaction coordinator is definitely one that you should look at and consider. Okay, here is the next one. Consider becoming a showing agent for a top producing realtor in your brokerage. A lot of times, y'all, when you'll get there, trust me. I know right now you're like, what? But you will get there. A lot of times it gets tough to show all of the homes and to open all the doors for their clients. So many agents look for capable showing agents to assist them. Now, one thing that I want to say about being a showing agent is, know your role, okay? Know that these are not your clients. You are there to support the realtor. So don't be out here trying to steal somebody's clients when you're showing them. But again, it's another thing that it gets you in those real estate doors. It gets you familiar with opening a lockbox. It gets you familiar with showing a client a home, sticking to the facts, only answering the questions. But if you're going to multiple homes, get there a little early. You're there anyway to make a little extra cash, put it on your social media. So all of these different things, like every time people look up, you're always showing homes. You don't have to tell them it's not your clients' homes that you're out here supporting, but you're making some extra cash as you're building up your presence and your knowledge of area, your knowledge of construction and things like that. So definitely look into being a showing agent. here is something else to consider. Y'all become a notary and take it a step further and become a closing agent. Now, go ahead, go on like notary.com, Google it, Google notary, Google closing agent, but pretty much you can become essentially the person to help with the closing documents like an escrow officer does at a title company. And that is another way to generate money. And now you become familiar with the closing documents, you become familiar with the closing process, and you can assist, like when you do get your clients, now you're an expert because you've gained all this extra experience from closing people. And look and see how does the realtor, as you're closing, how is the realtor interacting with their client? Are they even there? What did they bring for gifts? Like, what is expected? How does a seller closing different from a buyer closing? So again, you're there to be the closing agent and go through all the documents with them, but you're gaining experience so that when it's your turn, you will come back and be the expert. Okay, here's another one. We talked about being a transaction coordinator. What about being a listing coordinator? Now, I will be the first to tell you that listing coordinator changed the game for my business because I had no idea. First of all, I didn't know such a thing existed. And then when I figured out it did, it was just the most beautiful thing in the world. So pretty much what a listing coordinator does, like their job is even a little more succinct than a transaction coordinator, because a transaction coordinator is with you from contract to close, where a listing coordinator is really just responsible to getting that house on the market. So a listing coordinator will go out and maybe hire a photographer or partner with a photographer. They are there to make sure that the house is tidy. They're giving you, or you will be giving the agent the information to give their sellers and what to do to prepare the home for closing. And literally you go out, you measure the house, you input the listing, you write a beautiful description. So I do suggest, like, this is a great job for someone who has beautiful words. Like you're a writer, you can be very expressive with your words and describe the home beautifully. And you do all of that, and then the agent pays you. And unlike a transaction coordinator that is paid at closing, most listing coordinators are paid up front because, again, your job pretty much ends once the house is listed. I know some of you are like, do agents really pay for this? Yeah. Let me tell you something. I have had weeks where I've had 8 houses come to market at once, on top of taking care of my current clients. So to sit down and input all of that information for 1 or 2 houses is already overwhelming. But to do it for 8 and take care of the clients that I'm already working with and the ones that I'm looking to get under contract, it is completely overwhelming. I happily pay a listing coordinator to support me in my business, and that is definitely something that you can do. And as a listing coordinator, again, you will get to know the neighborhoods, you will get to know floor plans, you will get to know builders. So again, when it's your turn, you become the expert. All right, and then here is the last one that I will share with you. Many times you have agents that are doing really well in your market who are in need of an assistant, and they would prefer to have someone that is licensed. This is probably the most game changer goal, not in terms of the immediate money that you can make, because it's probably not a huge dollar amount that you're making week to week. However, the information that you're gonna get like on the spot like indirect coaching or direct coaching. You're going to have an opportunity to see how someone is running their business who is in production day to day, and you are going to learn so much. So being a real estate assistant, y'all, don't get all caught up in ego like, I didn't quit my job to be anybody's assistant. Let me tell you something. If I could go and bring Oprah Coffee all day and just learn and listen to her phone conversations, I am here for it, okay? I'm here for it because I know that I'm going to learn a great deal about running a company, being a mogul, and all that stuff. And the same thing with being a real estate assistant. You're gonna learn what to do. You're gonna learn what not works well. You're gonna learn how they prospect. You're going to learn how they follow up. It is definitely something to be interested in. So if you ever hear a more seasoned agent in your office that you know is doing business, they're looking for some support, don't turn your nose up at it. It's definitely a hustle that you might want to try. Okay, y'all, I hope that this was helpful because I know what it feels like. Like, I know what it feels like to first get in the business and look up, like, y'all, one time I looked up and my bank account was over $1,000 in the negative. But I didn't want to just go get a job because I knew that I was going to be a great agent. I needed some income coming in right then and there. So these side hustles will let you be in the business, still having the conversations. A lot of times it will still give you flexibility to service your own clients, but give you some cash in your pocket so that you can keep a roof over your head while you're trying to get a roof over everybody else's head. Now, if you made it to the end of this video and you are not subscribed to my channel, what are you doing with your life? Go ahead and subscribe. And while you are at it, y'all, drop it in the chat. Which one of these are you most interested in? Have you done any of these jobs before? Tell us all about it, and I will see you next week. Bye.